Yo, what it do? Teagues here. I'm going to be doing a little bit more of a unique video today. In fact, this is going to be my first video on Pegasus Kingdom 2. It's going to be a little bit more of a gameplay commentary type of thing. I'd honestly like to do more of these in the future where, I talk about new updates, cool stuff happening in the community, really all the cool stuff happening that's related to the game. I'd have liked to capture some footage of it today, but I've been hearing that the gameplay that gets uploaded to YouTube sometimes gets taken down, especially anything that directly shows off the new updates. So today I'll just have some Star Fox 64 playing in the background. I'm gonna talk about it to keep you guys distracted, keep you entertained. Hope my gaming doesn't suck too bad. Anyway, Pegasus Kingdom 2, let's go. So what's likely, the major September update for the game just dropped this past Thursday, and I know it's something that quite a few players have been looking forward to, myself included. And before I get into the main content, I just want to point out, I've been seeing a lot of people in Discord complaining every update, oh, Combustion Studios, when are you gonna finally continue the main quest? These things take time. Take it as a good sign that, they're putting in the full effort to make the next installment as good as possible. Work on, some other ideas in the meantime. I don't mean to get too off topic though, so let's talk about what they have been getting into. And something that is a little bit controversial, honestly, is the Earth Marauder balancing changes. I guess a lot of new / casual players were getting frustrated with how difficult the calculations are, and I pretty much get where they're coming from. I mean, if you check the wiki page, at least the old wiki page is probably updated now, it was 5,000 words in total, I think. If any of you guys are fans of the Bloons series, the Bloons Tower Defense, it's kind of like the page for the Paragon upgrades, with all the long formulas there. It honestly does look a little more intimidating than it actually is, but it wasn't always intuitive for the kinds of players who do the whole press forwards and click the mouse as fast as possible kind of tactic. But anyway, the Earth Marauder was basically the most efficient move, had some of the most potential for DPS in the game, and I think could be learned by pretty much any class. It had this crazy formula for its damage output, and I guess they're changing that aspect about it now. It would be a little bit more annoying if it weren't, a required part of the Iron Citadel, which is more or less a mandatory part of the main quest as a whole. And I'd honestly be interested in hearing what some of you guys think about in that particular. Do you love it? Do you hate it? I'm going to be a little bit more centrist on that one. But what I do have some more pressing opinions on is what they're currently doing with the Cannoneer class. This is something that I think people will care about, I guess, more or less, probably less. I don't really know, but they gave a pretty strong buff to the Cannoneer class. I'd be honestly interested in hearing some dev input on this, because I can't tell if they just did this to drive more people to use the class, or if they really thought genuinely that it deserved the buff. Because say what you will about the top meta classes, all that, I don't really follow any of that even as a top 500 player, whatever I am. But it's really pretty strong once you unlock its full skill list. I remember that a couple months ago, I did was probably a 12-hour raid-a-thon with some of my buddies that I knew from back when I was on PK1. We had this Cannoneer on our team, and he really knew what he was doing. He really actually studied the class and its abilities, right up on the wiki, all that. And I swear, there probably wasn't a single pixel of my screen that was untouched by cannonballs every 15 or maybe 20 seconds. And this is Cannoneer we're talking about. Those things do a lot of damage. But anyway, I mean, I'm sure it'll make Cannoneer mains really happy. I'm not really sure that was good for the balance of classes as a whole. I just know that I don't want to become the go-to class when all the PK tubers start talking about, recommend, get your friends, get your brothers and your sisters, get grandma to play it, get the dog playing it. It's better as a niche class for people who just prefer this playstyle than to just be another kitchen sink class. Oh yeah, another thing that's coming up is this year's Moonlight Lagoon event. Always a fan favorite, great both as, game event as well as a social community event. This isn't something that came out this update, but they have been teasing it on the Discord and the announcements in the launcher. A lot of major news right now is kind of just hearsay, but something I know they've been teasing, they've sent screenshots, posted screenshots, is the fact there's going to be some actually playable mini games this time. You remember how like the whole like street, the heart of the event is like just filled shoulder to shoulder with those little booths that kind of look like fair games. Like, you go to those like with your friends when you were a kid, like after getting off at the amusement park ride, you grab the dart, you throw it at the balloon, and like your friend like pukes funnel cake to the side. I don't know. But anyway, those booths they have are gonna be like actual full-on mini games this year, and you're gonna actually play them for the awards. It's not like the idle animation you would do. You just do that for like 90 minutes until you finally like get all the items you remember. Yeah, that's honestly pretty cool. It's not a detail I would have actually expected them to spend any time on, but it makes me wonder what they'll do in future events, or if they'll add like more unique things like that to some quests. Anyway, the last thing I'm getting to today is also like the main primary thing that I want to sideshow. I was looking forward to all this time. Let's do it. Let's go Astral Rift Legacy Part 3. This is, the big quest of the month. We've been waiting on this one for a while, and it's honestly, it has been more than worth the wait for what I've played of it. I guess I should note that I have not actually finished this quest. I know what you guys are thinking, like, oh, just this Teague guy, what chump he is. He hasn't even like beaten the quest, but he's giving all this praise. Maybe there is a little truth to that. It's not even like the longest quest, but it's also not like your typical Saturday morning cartoon type quest either. Anyone who's gotten through the first couple parts and played through them, they'll know that pretty well. There's a pretty significant narrative lore element as well, and there's trickier bosses. There are bosses that like you probably wouldn't want to solo that, at least for your first time playing it. But yeah, it's a big quest. I can't wait for the next part already, and I haven't even finished it. And I'm sure a lot of other people are gonna feel the same. Maybe you guys will. I don't want to spoil the plot from what I've seen too much, but I just want to say that you Commander Torf fans are gonna have to check it out. Like, you're gonna be entertained, I think. Like, however you feel about it, whether you love it or you hate it, you're not gonna be bored. It's actually pretty impressive because I've already seen a pretty solid number of people competing for times on the Void Paragon fight, and I mean like truly competitive times. I'm sure I'm gonna sound like an idiot in like 6 months when they figured out how to like do a backflip, call nuclear airstrike on them, crush them between their fingers, and like shit on them all in like 20 seconds. That's fine. I think right now like Cryptcrafter 66 has the record in it with like 54 seconds or something. I don't know. But like I think Cardigan was in second. He had like just under a minute. I don't really know how they're managing that kind of DPS, but I also don't play either of their classes, so that meta isn't my forte. But lots of respect to those two. Cardigan he's really been pushing the Berserker class much further than anyone else thought was possible. I know I never gave it much of a chance myself. Most of my memories of it were from like my casual friend Mac. He plays Berserker. He's basically just stupid. He's like the one active player I know, both in game and also I know him in real life. I used to sometimes hang out with him and some of my other buds at like his apartment. I bring my laptop over. We'd all bring our laptops over and we'd just like mess around the game for like 4 or like 5 hours. And he would just get like really drunk. Sometimes we would just be screaming like incoherently whenever we ran into a room with any enemies. He just randomly like press skills while right clicking, towards the enemies. But yeah, no one exactly thought, Berserker was a bad class, but it's never been considered like a technical one. So seeing someone actually look into it and figure out tech for it beyond holding left click is something I honestly do respect. If I had, do any of you guys have that like really stupid image of him that he posted on the forum for his face reveal? I haven't been able to find it. It's like, his beard was like super long, his bald head was like shining. It was shining like the sun. He's wearing some stupid t-shirt that says like sex on it. And I probably searched for it for like 10 minutes straight yesterday. I couldn't find it. It's the funniest thing I've seen on the forum. But yeah, that's like the main bulk of the content I wanted to talk about. The balancing might be a bit up and down, but Astral Rift has been awesome, and I can't wait for part 4. Oh yeah, also remember to check the tea shop. I think this week most people will be eligible for a green tea XP boost. Could be useful for some quick laws before the Moonlight Lagoon boss. Remember, it starts the last week of summer, 15th. Check it all out. You'll probably see me there at some point. Anyway, feel free to comment what you think about the update. What do you hope to see in the future? I'm thinking my next PK2 video might be on some community content. Maybe something to do with it, you know, like the upcoming event. But that's about it for this video. I'll see you guys next time.